Alright, opening a studio. You want to change these things. They're not really that important, but first you want to remove the entire spawn location, and then remove the texture of the base plate and change it to concrete. Now choose your own frame in the frame sets channel in RBC. I went for a look 895 Vitesse. And you can also find wheel sets in the wheel set channel, which is just under the frame sets. Here I chose the armor blades. Okay, so here's a trick. You want to copy the armor blade or the wheel set position and copy it into the origin position. And it seems to have fucked up my frame here, so I guess we'll try copying the front instead. It seems to, I don't know, it seems to have done something weird, but we'll just reorientate it. And rotate just to have it fit properly. So what you want to do is you want to line up the fork to the front hub, like this. Try and get it as close as possible. And then we want to move that rear wheel set after. Just get that in the dropout. Hold on. Alright, seems to be right at the edge. Oh, right, it's fucking clipping. Move it back, make sure there's tight clearances. And that's your wheel sets. And just like wheel sets, you can find cranksets in the cranksets channel. I'm gonna go with some look cranks here. I mean, it's a look frame, so look crankset. So you want to line up the cranks to the frame itself. So you want to look at the BB shell, and you want to get that tube from the cranks to sit somewhat centered inside. So you want to just tinker around and see what's centered or not. Or if it's a steel frame, you can just copy the position of the BB shell. So we're just going to tinker with the BB shell here for a bit and trying to get the correct chain line and make sure that the crank doesn't really hit the frame. So there are currently no public release chains in RBC, so I'm just going to use a private one here. It's fine if your bike doesn't have a chain, it's really for aesthetics, so. But if you do have a chain, you want to line it up to both the chainring and the cog, so it seems like my cog and chainring aren't in line, so we're going to have to fiddle with that. So, but we'll first put it here. As you can see, it's not even on the cog. So I choose to put the chain on the cog itself for the chainring. So, and then change the chain line with the crankset. And just like with every bike part, you can find them in their specific channel under either road bike or track because we're going for drops. So this is our carbon track drops with some bar tape. So the trick is you want to add the position of the stem to the drop bar and you want to paste it in there, and then you can adjust after such. Now the bike is almost done, you just need a saddle. So you just go to saddle channel, which is under general bike parts, and then grab one there. So I'm gonna go for a physique saddle here. And so I'm gonna grab the position of the seat post and push it into the saddle itself. And then you wanna adjust it, so rotate a little bit, but it seems like I kinda forgot that the scale was way too big. I noticed that after this. So you want to make sure that the scale fits the size of the bike of itself. And yeah, you're good. That's basically the entire bike. And lastly, you want to group the entire thing together to get ready for the chassis. Now you can find the bike chassis in the others channel in the general bike parts, and this is the main chassis that RBC is going to be using, which I frankly don't think it's a good chassis, but it's what we're forced to use. So you want to line up both of the wheels and make sure that it's basically the same height or a little shorter. Just make sure it's of the same size basically. Then you want to move the chassis and line up the front wheel with the front wheel of the model that you have and try and center it as much as possible. Then you want to grab that front wheel and copy the position to the wheels in the front. So just paste it and it should align. After that, you also want to do the rear, which is you want to copy the position and paste it into the rear. Now make sure that it is centered and of the same size. Then you want to move each into the respective parts. So here's an optional, but it makes the bike look better. You want to move the wheel nuts into the wheel fix, which makes them not spin and they look better. So here I'm just adjusting the axle. Oh yeah, the nuts are not in place. So yeah, I adjusted both the axle and the nuts to be not inside of the track dropouts. So I just extend them a little bit, and yeah, there you go. Do the same for the other side as well. And next you want to put everything that's related to the body into the body, well, obviously. Then you want to grab the fork and everything that's related to the front of the bike, and you want to move it into the suspension fix. And that's your entire chassis done. So next you want to do is simply click these three things: the drive seat, front, and rear, and set the transparency to 1. That's your entire bike. So here's testing. The entire bike moves forward, everything's good, the wheels turn, mouse works, and yes, you can skid. Yeah, so that's the entire bike.